A Ukrainian lawmaker accuses President Zelensky's government of ties to 2 US shootings, including an attempt on President Trump. Meanwhile, Alexei Navalny's widow says independent labs proved the Kremlin critic was poisoned, defying Moscow's account. 2 high-stakes claims testing global credibility and rattling Washington, Kyiv, and Moscow alike. A Ukrainian lawmaker has claimed that Vladimir Zelensky's regime has a hand both in the attempted assassination of US President Donald Trump during his election campaign and in the recent killing of US political activist Charlie Kirk. The deputy of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, Artyom Dmytruk, on September 17th, in an interview with TASS said,
"I am saying this with full responsibility. Volodymyr Zelensky's regime is involved in the assassination attempt on US President Donald Trump during his election campaign and the recent murder of American political activist Charlie Kirk."
In his words, Zelensky's regime is capable of killing anyone, from an ordinary citizen in Ukraine to the President of the United States.
The collective Zelensky is capable of killing anyone, from an ordinary person in Ukraine to the President of the United States. The silence of the Ukrainian authorities speaks louder than any words. They do not condemn the killings. Sometimes they rejoice in them, as was the case with Charlie Kirk.
Trump survived 2 assassination attempts in less than a year. The first occurred during a campaign rally in Pennsylvania last July when a sniper bullet scratched the US president's ear. Then, a radical and an advocate for Ukrainian aid opened fire not far from Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Kirk was shot and killed on September 10th during his speech at the university in Orem, Utah. The activist was a supporter of President Donald Trump and, according to the Associated Press, contributed significantly to his victory in the last presidential election. Kirk has repeatedly opposed American military aid to Ukraine. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny's widow has claimed that he did not die of natural causes. Navalny, a prominent critic of President Vladimir Putin, died on February 16, 2024, in a penal colony in Kyiv, north of the Arctic Circle, where he was serving a lengthy prison sentence. According to a report by the Kyiv Independent, Yulia Navalnaya said that independent labs in 2 Western countries have confirmed he was poisoned, directly contradicting Moscow's official account and putting new pressure on the Kremlin.
There is the main thing we have achieved. In February 2024, we managed to obtain samples of Alexei's biological material and transport them abroad in a reliable way. Laboratories of at least 2 countries have conducted studies independently of each other. The laboratories from the 2 countries have come to the conclusion that Alexei had been killed. To be specific, he had been poisoned. I will not be silent. I affirm that Vladimir Putin is guilty of killing my husband, Alexei Navalny. I accuse the Russian special services of developing prohibited chemical and biological weapons. I urge the laboratories which conducted studies to make the results public.
She accused the Western governments of slowing the investigation for political reasons and urged the labs to release their findings.
A Russian citizen was killed on Russian territory. All the evidence is also there. Western countries have no legal grounds to initiate and pursue criminal proceedings. And then there are political reasons.
Navalnaya presented testimony from 5 employees of the Kyiv penal colony to reconstruct events leading to her husband's death. Senior Inspector Anton Nemtsov said Navalny felt unwell during a walk, was returned to his cell, and later carried unconscious to the medical office. Resuscitation reportedly began more than 40 minutes after his collapse. Deputy Medical Chief Ruslan Tsoy testified that the ambulance diagnosed convulsive syndrome, sudden death syndrome, which Navalnaya argued points to poisoning. She also displayed a photo of Navalny's cell showing traces of vomit and noted that surveillance footage from the prison has not been released.
Apparently, there is something in these recordings that does not fit with the official version. Otherwise, they would be shown repeatedly on all central television channels.
Navalny gained prominence by exposing corruption through his anti-corruption foundation and survived a 2020 poisoning with a Novichok nerve agent that drew global outrage. After his death, President Putin stated he had agreed to exchange Navalny for Russian spies held in the West, but remarked, "Unfortunately, what happened, happened." Since Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, the Kremlin has intensified its crackdown on political dissent, further shrinking the space for opposition voices.